Hi everyone, I'm Corey Jones with Remax Sarnia Realty and Home Team Advantage. As many of you know, I've decided to run to become a member of your board of directors for the Sarnia-Lambton Association of Realtors. As part of the campaign process, we the candidates have been asked to create a short video to address some of the top 5 questions you the members have. With that said, if you have any other questions that aren't addressed in this video, please don't hesitate to contact me directly anytime. The first question is, what is my stance on an open board versus a closed board? That's an interesting one for me because when I was moving back to Sarnia as a realtor that wasn't a member of this board, I did find it incredibly challenging to find information for listings in the area. Even having friends who were local realtors here, it was still often difficult to obtain a copy of the listing in a timely manner, and it was next to impossible to find information on comparable properties. With that said, I completely appreciate that Sarnia agents had their own businesses to run and couldn't be available at my beck and call. At the time, though, I found it so frustrating that Sarnia was a closed board, and I couldn't fully understand the benefits for the members. Now that I'm a member of this board, however, I can say that I'm truly glad we've maintained our status as a closed board. I've heard many that oppose this position say that having an open board will provide better exposure for our clients, thus providing them with better service. And although I do see some validity to that statement, I believe the positives of remaining closed strongly outweigh the negatives. Everyone has many reasons for their own stance on this, but besides some of the obvious, I can say with complete transparency that my biggest reason for the board to remain closed is that I'm confident as local professionals we can and do provide a much higher level of service to our Sarnia-Lambton clients than any agent from another area can. We've all had situations work with an out-of-town agent where the communication has been poor, where the lockbox code is wrong and we can't get in touch with them at all. Just recently, a member of our team was trying to show a home that was listed by an out-of-town agent who said the lockbox was jammed and that he couldn't get here to Sarnia to repair or replace it. She attempted to show the home for 3 weeks, and the box was never repaired. Telling our clients we can't show a property for 3 weeks just makes us look incompetent or like we aren't willing to show the property at all. With us able to maintain some control over what happens in our area, we have the ability to maintain and improve upon the higher standard in which we choose to conduct our business here in Sarnia-Lambton. I've personally experienced working in an area where 35% of the business is from out-of-town agents, and although I've made some great referral connections, I speak from experience that the negatives truly do outweigh the positives. Although opening the board doesn't necessarily mean an amalgamation with TREB, it does open the door to that reality sooner. I recently met with one of my mentors that works for a board that did recently amalgamate with TREB, and I asked her what she thought about it. Without hesitation, she immediately said the biggest issue they have is that they felt like they've lost their voice completely. Like Sarnia would be, they're small fish in a big pond, and they're finding that decisions and changes are being made without any input from them at all. This is yet another reason why I don't feel that opening our board is in our best interest. With that said, I'm also a firm believer that any decision and changes made should be for the greater good, so I'm always available and eager to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions on this matter. The second question is, what steps would I take to improve communication between the board and members, ensuring that everyone stays informed and engaged? Before answering this question, I'd like to say that I actually think the board has done a pretty good job with their attempts at communication with us. A couple of months ago at a board luncheon, some members made statements that they felt the board wasn't doing enough to communicate with its members or to ensure that we all completely understood what the communications were about. Those statements struck a chord with me and in fact solidified my decision to run for the board. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but I do believe that we as members have a certain responsibility to pay attention to any correspondence that's sent to us. If we don't understand, put our hands up and ask. There's always somebody available to help. At the last board luncheon, the guest speaker stated that if there are issues that need to be addressed, we should all discuss it with our executive officer, Tracy, and allow her to bring them forward to the board. Although I agreed with many of the points made that day, I disagreed with that one. No one person can or should be responsible for every issue in all communication. Although there should always be processes for how and when issues are addressed, if we're being elected to be the voice for you, we should all offer an open door policy to each and every one of you. If you contact me directly, I promise to get you the answers you need as quickly as I can, and I'll challenge every board member to do exactly the same thing. The third question is, do you believe in term limits for board and committee positions? If so, what do you see as the benefits of having set time limits? My answer is yes. I believe in term limits both with maximum and minimum terms. I do believe that if people are allowed to remain in any position indefinitely, they often become complacent. When this happens, policies and processes become more of a suggestion than a standard. I also feel that all positions should be a minimum of 2 years. It's very difficult to implement such change and see it through within 12 months. Many times decisions are made that may not come into effect for several months or even the same year. With terms only being a year, this may not allow enough time for members to see their changes come into effect or have accountability should the decision not be a favorable one. Next question is, how do you plan to advocate for the unique needs of both new and experienced agents within our association, and how will I ensure these voices are represented on the board? For those of you who have worked closely with me, done deals with me, or attended mastermind roundtable meetings with me, you can attest to the fact that I not only encourage questions and debates, but I thrive from it. There's nothing I love more than when somebody brings up a point I've never thought of or challenges me on an opinion I may have. There are few days that go by where someone doesn't contact me for advice or my opinion on something, and there are many of you watching this video that know that I do the same with you. Experience doesn't always mean that things are done properly, and inexperience doesn't mean that someone doesn't have something to share that we can't all learn from. When we all work together to be better, we all succeed together. This business is competitive, but it doesn't mean we're in it alone. I love to help, I do, and I know there are lots of others who do as well. In order to make sure everyone's voice is heard, I'm committed to hear what you have to say and take your needs and concerns to the board. Again, for those of you who know me, you also know that what I want is what's best for everyone. And with that said, you also know I don't remain silent if there are injustices or if the greater good is not being considered. The final question is, what specific qualifications and experience to make me an ideal candidate to represent SLAR members effectively and objectively? Although the extent of my volunteer experience consists of coaching amateur sports and sitting on a festival board, my work experience prior to real estate has provided me with the valuable skills and the mindset to effectively represent you. Prior to being in real estate, the majority of my work experience consisted of management, leadership, and small business ownership. The skills I've learned in my previous roles, the challenges I faced in business ownership, and the passion I have for this industry we're in will help me be the candidate you deserve. In my leadership roles, I manage the fixed operations of two of the highest volume automotive dealerships in the country, and as Director of Development for the second largest automotive finance company in Canada. I've managed over 300 employees, and something that the majority of my former employees will tell you is that I acknowledge I would not have achieved the success I have without each and every one of them. I'm a firm believer that success is only achieved when everyone is valued, takes ownership of the organization they're part of, and when major changes and decisions are made as a collaboration with those they impact. This board only succeeds because of you and, of course, the incredible committee members that also volunteer their valuable time. We're only successful in this business, at least for the long haul, if we make people a priority over our paychecks, and we'll only continue to get better if we work together to get there. For those that watch this video, I appreciate you, and I look forward to representing you as one of the board of directors for the Sarnia Lambton Association of Realtors.